Whaley Bridge. Well, to discuss this further, we're joined by Dirk Luger, a geotechnical expert at Deltares, a Dutch research institute for water and soil. Thank you for joining us here on BBC News this afternoon. What's your assessment of the approach they've been taking with this dam in Derbyshire?
Well, the actions that they have been taking, as far as I've seen the recent days, are precisely what they should do. Indeed, lowering the water level, making sure that the spillway is not being used anymore, because that's clearly a part of the structure that is failing or had been failing, is precisely what had to be done. And I think that indeed lowering the water level, making sure by inspection what is really happening, what the status of the dam is. And I think this is the correct approach and provides soon sufficient information and safety for the people living downstream. How
often should a structure like this be tested, given the amount of stress it's under?
That's very hard to tell, because it depends on the details of the construction itself. And you have to make a distinction between the main dam itself, which has been there for a very long time, and the spillway, because they have different functions. The spillway is loaded by the water flowing over it, and has a different characteristics. So the way in which you inspect would be different, and maybe the frequency as well. But it depends on the kind of details of the structure that are in place.
How similar is the situation in the Netherlands with the dams that you have there?
Well, in that respect, you have to look at two different aspects. On the one hand, is the kind of constructions that we have, and contrary to many other countries, the Netherlands are quite flat, so most of the dams are really dikes that provide protection against flooding and are not so much containing water as a reservoir. So the higher dams are relatively, say, an exception to the rule. But that's the construction part. The other part is how are we, say, inspecting and maintaining the dams, and there's of course a historic system in place in the Netherlands with water boards that actually were the oldest bodies of regulating this part of the safety all over the country, and that is a bit different. Has been long standing to do that in the Netherlands, and that works quite well with inspections and laws that impose certain safety levels, which are indeed being enforced and maintained.
How much has technology improved to enable you to monitor the safety and the strength of these structures?
Well, quite a bit of developments have been going on over the recent years, and you see that applicable to the dikes in the Netherlands as well as dams worldwide. What is being done now at the dam that we're speaking about, monitoring displacements from remote stations, is something that was not easily done in the past and not as accurately. So also in situations where dams are doing their normal service, you can follow the dam and follow settlements or displacements under the water load, and that can be done from ground stations and even from remote sensing satellites. And another technique is using, for instance, infrared to check on the heat signature of the dam. It will be obvious that if a dam itself would be leaky, then the wet spots would be colder than other parts. And for instance, in the spillway, if the spillway concrete plates in this particular case, if they are lying on the soil or if there's a gap underneath them, that would show up on infrared, because a loose lying slab would easily warm up and cool down, so it would have a different temperature signature. And on many other techniques, that were not available at the time that this dam was built and the spillway was built.
Dirk Luger from Deltares Research Institute for Water and Soil. We appreciate you talking to us this afternoon. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to do that.